One of the things we've briefly discussed, and you really get into depth in the book, is that background of your youth, that you saw yourself as everyday Jane or everyday Nancy,
right.
that you don't have an MBA,
No.
you didn't go the conventional route in your education. In fact, you got your degree long after your success in business. Right. Is that one of the things that you find you bring to the table that is helpful to both the employer and
yes.
employee? Is that everyday person look?
Right, because I didn't have it handed to me, because I had to work extra hard, because I didn't have the degree and everything else. I had to work harder than everyone else. Plus, I was a woman. So as a woman, I could have played the victim and said that my male counterparts were making more money than I was and cried about it, or I could work twice as hard.
So you don't really buy into or have any tolerance for the victimization
No.
attitude at all?
No, because no matter what your situation, you need to look at yourself and figure out what you can do to make it better. The employer and the employee need to meet halfway. But I find that if you give out more without expectation of what you're getting in return, it will come back to you tenfold.
One of the things that you've done that I believe is unique, and particularly in these economic times, particularly in this political climate, is in terms of benefits. We're talking about healthcare and where healthcare and who should be paying for it, et cetera. And at a time where major corporations are scaling back, turning employees into contractors, less benefits for more money, you've gone the absolute opposite direction. Right. That seems counterintuitive. Well,
because in these times, I think, we really need to be more sensitive to the employee. They don't have that security that they had before.
You know that's not the common notion.
I try to put myself in the other person's position. I've been the employee. What would be the most critical benefit? To me, it's the health insurance. You can't live without it. Health costs are skyrocketing. The premiums are through the roof. And what I've tried to do is absorb as much of that as possible and passing on very little to the employee without compromising their benefits. Because to me, I would rather give up some of my salary than to cut that benefit. And I've been under enormous pressure every year by my accountant and my insurance agency to change that. But for me, it's one thing I absolutely will not cut.
So I'm an employer. Give me an example of a red flag I see go up and how I can fix it.
When I'm seeing that it's not fitting, I talk to the person. I try to see, is it something, a personality issue? Or is it that I just have the person in the wrong position? So through coaching and looking at the different team members and looking at the different functions, I try to match that person with what's best suited for them.
Because it's going to cost you more to replace the employee.
It's not just that it's going to cost you more, it's very painful. It's very stressful to have to terminate an employee. It's very counterproductive. You lose a lot of time. And it's painful on both sides.
In this environment, given the fact that we're at least 9.1% unemployment, most likely real factors well into double digits, people are doing more work than they ever imagined they were going to do if they are lucky enough to do the job. How do you apply that in this economic climate?
Well, no matter what the economic climate, there are still jobs available. You may not find it a palatable job, but it's always best when you're in this situation or it looks like you're going to be terminated or your company may be downsizing to make yourself more valuable, to go out and get additional skills or whatever's necessary, to show your commitment to that employer, because that employer is more likely to keep you on if you're demonstrating your worth. Look at yourself. What can I be doing to make myself more valuable? Do I need to get more training, education? And then have that dialogue. Don't just float on and move to the next job. Figure out what it is. Maybe it's something within you that needs to change.
Common phrase you hear from many people is one door closes, another one opens.
Right.
It seems difficult to believe, again, in this economic climate, that that could be possible. But some of the things I've witnessed as a journalist, out of pain comes a new birth.
Yes.
That when economies rejigger, that somehow it creates a better workplace once you get through the pain. This is a economy that none of us have ever witnessed or experienced. This is our parents' generation. Can you see that light? Can you see that hope somewhere coming out of this?
Well, what I see is that each individual can try to maximize their talents as much as they can. They can be looking at other industries. Maybe this industry is closing and there's another one open. So be open to stepping outside of your box because there are jobs out there. They may not be the job you want, but it may lead to something else down the road.
Something we hear often about is reinventing oneself.
Right.
And I don't know if that, it's not suggesting that you throw your past experience away. It's suggesting build on it and go step into the future.
Exactly. So in some cases, it involves training. It involves maybe finding a mentor, finding someone who is successful in a particular field and asking them to help you. You know, reach out to people who are successful.